Welcome to Resilient Voices, a podcast that shares inspiring stories of women who've overcome challenges to create powerful change. I'm Jessica Schultz, your host, and I'm excited to take this journey with you. As a coach, I've seen how transformative embracing change can be, and I'll share both my experiences and those of women who've faced fear and rebuilt their lives. This podcast is about the real and messy parts of transformation, and through these stories, I hope you'll feel empowered to take action and embrace your own resilience. You are powerful and you can create the change that you desire. So welcome to the podcast, Resilient Voices. And I want to introduce you to my guest today because obviously I'm not here by myself. Just opposite me, I have my dear friend and colleague, I have to say, she is nowadays, MaryAnn Voli, half American, half Italian, half Spanish. And I know the math doesn't add up, but trust me, she says it does. She's a globetrotter, lived and worked in 3 continents, from corporate citizen to successful entrepreneur in the coaching and mental emotional wellness space. That's a mouthful, MaryAnn.
I know. Put that in one word, right?
Yeah, we'll have to figure that one out. She's the co-owner of a retreat center in Portugal. And for the last 5 years, she's been living in Portugal. And MaryAnn is going to share her story about moving countries and changing careers and share her perspective of resilience. So it's going to be super interesting. And for me, this is a topic that's really close to my heart as well, since I've also changed countries and left a corporate, memberships, what do you call it? Citizenships. But it's not me we're going to talk about.
It's a free membership, by the way, unfortunately. Actually, no, it's a paid membership.
Yeah, it is a paid membership because you pay with sweat and tears, don't you?
You do.
And all your time. So, but anyway, welcome, MaryAnn. How lovely to have you here today.
It's an absolute pleasure. I'm so excited about this podcast because I know the intention is really aligned with my intention, which is about supporting women through stories and knowing that it's never too late and we've got it. We're strong enough to deal with what life throws at us. So it's a great pleasure to be here.
Yeah, great. Thank you. So happy to have you. And for you listeners, enjoy. This is going to be fun. So start with share your backstory when you focus about the moment that you faced that obstacle that you later then overcame. What challenge did you encounter?
So I've had an interesting life, but I do come from a sort of a dysfunctional family and some challenges which created some mental health issues around depression and things like that. So that's something that's been coming with me. But my latest one that I want to share is I was living in Hong Kong and I was actually very happy. I had a really good group of friends. I was an executive coach. I was running mindfulness-based stress reduction workshops. I had a relation. I was with my then husband, and really, really loving my life there. Though we realized that Hong Kong wasn't a place where we were going to retire for many, many reasons, and so we decided that Hugo, my then husband, wanted to have a veggie garden. He wanted to have a space, and I wanted to have a retreat center. So what we did is we decided to leave Hong Kong and come to Portugal to create this retreat center. And what I do remember is when they accepted the offer, I said, shit. Somehow I knew what I was getting into.
Yeah. So the offer was the offer for the land that you bought to create this retreat center.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
So can you describe that moment a bit more when you actually realized that, okay, this is going to happen now, and now you took action because you did have some sort of reluctance, fear? What happened?
Well, actually, it was interesting because it was our dream, right? We wanted to I wanted to build a retreat center. Hugo wanted to have his veggie garden. So it was like the hardware and the software kind of piece. Yeah. But to be honest, was that the moment? No, I mean, I think that was sort of like an intuition, knowing that I was going into a really difficult situation. When I remember, hey, they accepted the offer, and it was like, shit. There was fear because it was about leaving a life that I was extremely happy in and starting something completely new. But there was a vision that was supporting, so it was sort of fear and excitement at the same time. I still didn't know what the future was holding for me, and that's what we're going to get into.
Yes, we're going to get into that. So So the catalyst for change, was that the dream and that you wanted something different, that Hong Kong was not the right place? Or was there another event or something else that occurred?
No, that was it. I mean, we both realized that Hong Kong wasn't the place where we were going to retire. The weather, expat community, friends coming and going, mostly a lot of them leaving. So it was really about having a dream. So the thing I think that shit, as we use that as sort of like a key point, I knew we really had no clue what we were getting into. We'd never done a retreat center. We'd never done anything what we were about to. Portugal was new to both of us. So that was what, and it was interesting because it was actually leaving a beautiful situation. So it wasn't, I've had a time in my life where I left a toxic situation. And that's sort of, there's a driver. But in this case, the vision was the drive.
Nice.
And you would think it had a happy ending.
Because if you'd known then what you knew once you've started this change, would you have done the shift then if you'd known?
Beautiful question. Well, my philosophy around life is no regrets. I do believe that everything that comes to us has a gift. In fact, there's this one story that I live by, which I absolutely love, if you don't mind that I share.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they're two kids. One is an extremely pessimistic kid, and one is an extremely optimistic kid. And it's a science study to see how different reactions and different mindsets deal with life. So in the really optimistic kid, they put him into a room full of toys and games, everything that a child would want. In the optimistic kid, they put him in a room with a big pile of horse shit. And then they go back one day after, the kid with all the toys didn't do anything, didn't touch anything for his reasons. And instead, the little kid with the horse shit, when they went into the room, there was horse shit all over the place. And they said, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Well, with all this horse shit, there must be a pony somewhere." So that's my philosophy. So would I have done it again? Yes, because thanks to what happened, I am where I am now, and I could not be in a better place emotionally, mentally, and spiritually.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that story. So how did you manage your fear during this time?
So how did I manage the fear? So the fear came once we moved to Portugal. Just a lot of things that were happening. It was a very small town. Didn't really know anybody, so there was more than fear. There was loneliness, meeting new people, and then COVID happened, so they closed everything. Yeah, the fear actually came when we started the project. And for any of you who are starting a project that has to do with construction, be mindful that it's going to cost you 50% or more than when you expect. So have those deep pockets. So the fear actually happened because Hong Kong closed and COVID closed, because the plan was I was going to be coming back and forth from Hong Kong and Portugal with my business, still making money. But then that stopped.
Oh, wow.
So then the money coffers sort of paused, and the fear came of not being able to pay the bills, because things were becoming more and more expensive. So there was a lot of fear and a lot of stress that created a lot of stress to everything.
Yeah, I understand that. So, but your support system or tools, what did you have then at hand that sort of helped you and supported you in this process?
Gold. So I teach mindfulness, so I practice mindfulness. Compassion, so compassion for self, because I did go through a burnout during those 4 years. It was supposed to take 2 years, but it took 4 years. Self-compassion, and also compassion for my then husband, because he was obviously like me, going through a difficult time. So there was conflict management of just managing, and just compassion for him and his reactions, compassion for me and my reactions. So mindfulness, compassion, nature, going for walks in nature. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's in a beautiful, beautiful place. So real connection with nature, animals. So really connecting to nature, mindfulness, and compassion to start with. Then I learned how to do breath work, and that was ongoing as well.
That's lovely. But so you mentioned one challenge with money, but it must have been, I guess, some more challenges than that. And some of them obviously external, like factors that you can't really affect or control. But then you most likely went through some internal situations as well. What was that, and how did you deal with that?
So the external, as I said, it was money. It was the relationship. That was, as I mentioned, there was constant fighting, and well, I didn't mention it, but I needed compassion to sort of deal with that conflict, with that relationship crisis. And the internal was dealing with my shit. I think that's the common theme of today. It's dealing with my inner demons. So my inner pressure of not doing what I really love to do, which was coach and do the retreats and the mindfulness, because my head was in many, many spaces. So it was a lot of internal, pressure that I was putting to myself as far as and as well as the external pressure. And the internal pressure, again, I learned, breath work had actually cured me from a depression in 2008. And then I got introduced to teach it. So that really, really supported me to just let go of that inner critic and that inner pressure. I mean, not completely let go. It's a journey, right? I mean, resilience is not about being perfect. Resilience is about falling, standing up, and becoming even stronger after. So that's why I do see this as, there's a pony somewhere. There's a gift in everything that's happening. And that has helped me go through life and the challenges in life with that mindset that there's something here to learn and to grow from. So I think my mindset of there's always growth was a way that helped me with my inner challenges. I did go through burnout. I had to leave for 2 weeks because we were living in the actual construction site. We were living in it was paradise, but it was, you can actually be in hell in paradise. And that's how I felt sometimes.
Yeah. Because we do create our own paradise and hell on earth, don't we?
As well.
Yeah.
As well. Yes, because now, to be honest, if I go back, I've become so much stronger because of that. If I go back, I would deal with it in a different way. But I'm not going back.
No.
Life is forward.
Yeah, you move forward.
Yeah.
And what you say really is that you got yourself some experience and that you have in your backpack, whatever, with experiences. Yeah.
Actually, what it has given me as well is compassion for others and the challenges that others can go through, and realize that sometimes it's not easy. It's not like I'm going to, turn on a switch and I'm going to be happy, or I'm going to turn, there's a process, there's a journey, and there is falling down, and sometimes taking a little bit to stand up again. And also I think that the time to be down might be also useful as a moment to just be, and then knowing and trusting that we will stand and sort of rise and be even stronger than before.
Yeah. And when you say that, I think about there's a Japanese saying, say that if you fall down 7 times, it doesn't matter, just stand up and just keep on going. And I think that is, if you want to, we talked about this since the podcast is about resilience. It's about resilient women that have continue to do what you want to do and go through that. So would that be what's your definition of resilience?
Well, it's an interesting one, and it's something that I have also taught in the corporate space. And there are different elements about it, but the way I see resilience is the capacity. So there are there's different definitions, right? You have to be in the eye of the storm, but that's the ideal. I mean, we're not all, Zen meditators for 10 hours a day, where no matter what happens, we're the eye of the storm and we're always calm with the storm. But that is something to aspire for, and that's where we're going for. Or the bouncing back. Now, bouncing back is an interesting one, because bouncing back to what?
Yeah.
So for me, resilience is really to be able to keep growing, fall and grow. And the other sort of metaphor I have is with nature, right? Sometimes, don't want to talk about the fires in Portugal, but something burns, but then what grows is actually something that's even stronger and beautiful. In fact, in the old days, they used to burn so that then the soil would become more fertile. So that's the way I use it, is that any challenge that comes in our lives, depending how we take it, it can actually make us stronger.
Yeah.
And then it's like a step upwards. So the more challenges we go through, and we have that mindset of becoming even stronger, that we can always keep growing and becoming stronger.
Yeah. And the way I hear you say that as well is you cultivate a wisdom.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Wisdom is, for me, the resilient journey is about wisdom and compassion. Wisdom for knowing that everything is going to pass.
Yeah.
That even in the midst of what you feel is hell, it will pass.
Yeah.
And compassion for yourself and others.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think in you saying that as well is that allow yourself, I've done that myself so many times, that allow yourself to be really down. And then if you need to lie down on the floor and cry for a couple of days, so be it.
Yes.
But after you've done that, you can actually move forward and take that experience with you to actually make something better, you've learned something. Otherwise, it's a bit of waste of time if you get stuck in that in the sad place, and no one is going to suffer more than you being that.
Yeah, that's beautiful what you're saying there, because it is about allowing yourself to feel, because what you cannot feel, you cannot heal. So some people just power through things and they don't allow themselves to just embrace that pain, and then because, and we've talked about this as well, right? The only way out of pain is through it.
Yeah.
And so if we just keep charging through it, then we might go to alcohol, we might go to other things that don't really support our well-being. And resilience is also part of well-being. So there's a difference there about just powering through or just going through, and also giving ourselves the time that we need to just take care of ourselves. And that's the self-compassion piece.
Yeah. And I think that we're talking about a bit what I hear you saying there is about the masculine and feminine energy as well. Just powering through is more of a like masculine.
Yeah, more yang.
Yeah. Energy.
Yeah. And sometimes it's needed. In fact, right before the show, we were talking about that, right? It's like, okay, no, let's just get to it, right? Like, let's do it. But I think when we're talking about resilience and challenges in life, we can't really force ourselves out of it or power through out of that. Because also, I think as I'm speaking, what comes to me is that if we power through, we might go so fast that we don't gather the learnings.
Yeah.
And we don't gather the gifts.
Yeah.
We just go through it. And that's another important piece, and this I invite all your listeners, is to pause and reflect. Like, what am I learning? What's the gift here?
Yeah.
And then from there, power.
Yes, and that's what we want to. That's really a part of this this podcast as well, is to show that it's empowerment, that you really inspire women to. It is tough. It can be really, really painful, but the reward on the other side, as you go through it, there is actually a reward. There's something. When you get out of that shit, you find that pony sort of thing.
Yeah. And then you ride it and you go into the distance, and it's into the sunrise or the sunset. But yes, absolutely. And it is, I think there's a sense there of empowerment, of feeling like you are a co-creator of your life, and not just a victim.
Yeah, that's good. That's a lot of power in that. Yeah, absolutely. So the first, when we go back to sort of the move and everything, and the struggles with money and just building this retreat center, what was the breakthrough moment when you felt like it was successful after this big step? Because there must have been a time when you felt like, my God, this is what's going to happen with all this.
Yeah. I mean, when we were living in the pool was a hole, there was noise, there was dust. I mean, I remember just the dust everywhere, which you think is that really big deal. But when you're with it with months and months and months, and you're a tourist like me that likes my nice home and organized, and all the other challenges that were happening, when we finally opened and they finished the work and we finally opened, that was a moment of, okay, it was all worth it. The funny thing is, when you're in the midst of the pain, you don't realize that there will be, as you're saying, and that's beautiful, that there is going to be the other side. And that's why that sort of coming out and saying this is going to change. It's not always going to be like this. So that's what I call a meta awareness, that I'm not in this shit all the time, that there will be the pony. So yeah, there was a sense of accomplishment, of having sort of opened the doors. And there are other things that were happening that then moved on, but I think we can have that in the next conversation.
Yeah. Absolutely. So how did your life transform after making this leap? Like, you lived your life in Hong Kong and you were sort of quite secure and safe there, and and now you're here in Portugal building this retreat. You have this retreat center now. So what is the biggest, how did your life change?
In my case, it's the knowledge, the compassion, the strength inside me. That's because right now I'm in another transformation. I'm in another change, but we'll leave that for the next time we see each other. So it was a very, very deep transformation inside, as far as my strength, as far as letting go of patterns of being the victim. As I said before, I am the co-creator of my life. Yeah. So it was a very deep transformation that is more internal than external, but I smile more, I'm happier with life. I'm just feeling much more joy and gratitude towards life. And that's, I'm very, very happy about that. Then as far as what's coming, then that's another thing, but very, very deep gratitude and power inside.
That's beautiful. That's so beautiful to hear. So what I hear is that you've gone through a lot of personal growth, transformation. It's not just, it's not on the surface, it's going deep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like I'm another person.
Yeah.
A completely another person than I was 2-3 years ago.
Mm. Is it a better version of you?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. It depends who you ask. But I would say, yes, it is.
Yes.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. I take things less seriously. When the stuff that would really upset me in the past, something happened a couple of weeks ago, and I walked out and I was going to cry. And then after 30 seconds, 2 years ago, I would have cried and sort of stayed there. In this case, after 30 seconds, I'm like, why am I crying? I'm really happy. And it just passed.
Yeah.
So there's a deep sense of self-confidence, of a sense of self-worth, of just living life in the present, which we talk a lot about it. And I taught it, but there's nothing like life to really help you live it. And that is that's what I call my transformation, of just being happy and grateful for whatever is coming in my life. So
that is beautiful. Definitely a better.
And definitely gratitude to have you in my life, my friend.
Yes, it is. Well, we can talk about that as well later on, how we met and how everything in life happens for a reason, and how you meet. And I totally believe that, how you meet the people you're supposed to meet for a reason. And I normally say that, and then it's not my words, so I don't know who said it, but you meet people for a reason, for a season, or for a lifetime. Yeah. And that's so beautiful, because when you meet people for a reason, you know that that's part of your growth, that part of your path. Yeah. And maybe for a season, that could be just to...
For that time in life.
For that time in life. But then when you meet people for a lifetime, then you know that they're the people that's going to be there through thick and thin. And
And that reminds me that one of the things that were very, very important in this transition, this transformation, is friends. Yeah. Community. I mean, as far as just having the people that have your back, that support you, that you can cry with, you can laugh with, you can learn from, that's key for building resilience. Because I don't feel we can do this on our own. Yeah. I mean, there is that inner journey. Yeah. But if somebody or more people are holding that hand, it really, really supports.
Yeah. And I think that's also one of the reasons, thank you for bringing that up, that I want to do this podcast as well, because I think that when we share stories like that, like this, and we reach out, and the whole purpose is to inspire women to take that leap, to make that decision, to act despite the fear. But it's also what I would, my wish with this, and my intention is to create some sort of community where you can actually feel that, because not everyone has that, those friends and those people in your life that you support you in that way. So it could be a really lonely journey, and I hope that this could be at that community, that we can be that friend that you need, that support that you need. So that's my vision for this podcast.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it.
So yeah. So when you look back at this journey, what do you see then? What is your reflection? What do you?
What do I see? I see people doing the best that they can with what they have. I see a desire for growth. What do I see? I see the importance of having tools.
Yeah.
Having tools that support you in difficult times. I see a desire to put those tools in practice because we do know that there are tools out there, and they've always been there. A lot of the tools we're talking about, between transformational breath work, functional breath work, mindfulness, compassion, Qigong. Qigong was something, because one of my challenges is that I got an autoimmune disease during this time.
Okay.
So I had a lot of pains. So I had some sort of physical challenges during this time as well, and Qigong cured me of it.
Wow.
So I do believe that the tools are out there. They're millenarial tools, and we're using them. I mean, now, thank goodness, there's a little bit of a resurgence of different mind-body practices to be well, to feel strong. And so I see somebody who really committed to herself to put that in practice and not just hope, but actually do it. And I see a human being flapping, and I'm talking about myself. So yeah, I see a human being doing the best that she could do, but also just really grabbing onto what was there and using it. So I'm really grateful for that, doing this journey that took that.
Yeah. And I would say if you one feeling that comes with that, would that be you being proud of yourself?
Nice question. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say yes. Yeah. I was going to say happy, grateful, but no, proud. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Good girl.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Good for you. I mean, you could have just stayed and, and flopped around, but actually flopped and grew. So yeah, proud. Thanks.
Thank you for being for sharing that, because I think that is being vulnerable, and I think that we're quite afraid of allowing ourselves to be proud of ourselves, that we have actually we made that decision, we did those things, we left that comfort zone and just persevered, just continued.
Yeah. I mean, I'm running a program called I'm Remarkable, and I can definitely say I'm remarkable, and I'm more than remarkable. I'm amazing for everything that I've gone through and where I am now. So yeah, thank you for the question and reminder.
Thank you. So if you want to, we have some women here listening, and if you want to, just the practical steps or advice, what would you just give them for advice?
So I would definitely say that you are very important, and that you do have it within you. It's just that there are lots of layers of shit covering it. So there's a piece there on trusting, hand on your heart, self-compassion. This is a hard moment, so admitting it's a hard moment, and then say, okay, what is it that I can do to nurture myself? Which is the mindset that everything that is happening to you is a gift. You might not be seeing it in the moment, but if you can look back, really notice that. Putting in practice things like breathing techniques, mindfulness, compassion. I mean, we both guide transformational breath work, and we know how powerful that is to really get out of the thinking mind and go deep and release all that shit that we're carrying around. So, and nature, really spend time in nature. Have fun. Dance, laugh, and know that when things get difficult, trust that you have what it takes.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Thank you. So with that, I think that really, it's been super nice to talk to you and to hear a little bit about your going through a change and being really resilient, and this with actually going through and not push through, but take the actions and decide that this is what I'm going to do, and just listen to that and continue to do that even if it gets hard. And for myself, I quite often say, okay, what is the option then when you've started a process and when you got that dream, when you got that, it's like it's hanging there. It's like a fruit you want to pick, and it's like, so what is the option then? To just step back and then just close the curtain and say, okay, no, I didn't do that. I say that just continue going for it, and just know that once you've done one thing, gone through one transformational change, that you've wired your neural pathways, and it gets easier. Each change gets easier. Maybe not easier in a way that it's not as difficult, but you know that. I mean, you can anything you like you said, you have all the resources within you, don't you?
Yeah, and then you can go out as well and learn whatever practices you need, but you are stronger than what you think.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So really what we bottom line is that you got all the strength, and resilience is not just continue doing what you listen to your heart, listen to your calling, whatever you want to do, and just to follow that voice. And you can do this.
You can do this.
You can do this.
Even though it might seem difficult and it might not, but really listen to yourself and go out there, ask for help. Support yourself also with practices. So it is possible. So
it's super wonderful to have you here on my podcast, on the first episode, the premiere of the Resilient Voices. And I'm sure that we're going to have you back again, for sure, because there's obviously more than one challenge in your life that you may want to share with us.
With pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me. I'm so excited about what you're doing. I think it's going to make a difference to a lot of women. And when we make a difference to women, we make a difference to, as they say, to the village. So this is going to be a very, very, very powerful podcast.
Thank you. I think it's super important that we it's like universe got my back. I mean, and we got your back, and if we can support each other in this process, I mean, there are no limits to what women can do out in the world. So yes,
agreed.
It's super exciting. So with this, I want to say again, thank you, MaryAnn. And in our next episode, we're going to hear from another amazing guest, also located here in Ericeira. She took the leap to leave her comfort zone. Her story is full of courage, vulnerability as well. And I can't wait for you to listen to her. Her name is Angela Imhoff. She's from the Netherlands. A woman who forever will be 27, this is her words, but her passport says 41. And she decided to finally listen to the calling to move abroad and to live a different kind of life than she was brought up to believe that she could have. So here she is, leaving her home country, the Netherlands, and facing these challenges, following her heart. And she's going to share more about that story, how she embraced the fears and just went for the unknown. And she ended up here in Ericeira, and she will talk more about that. So it's going to be a very exciting story. So with that, I'll just encourage you to subscribe to Resilient Voices and follow us on social media. It's going to come more on social media. This is just a kickoff for this movement, the community of inspiring women to step into their power and be resilient and live a full, amazing life. So with that, I say thank you. And until next time, just go out there and be amazing.
And have a fucking good day.
Yes, have a fucking great day, I think we said even. And know that under all that shit, there is a pony.
There is a pony.
So,
thank you.
Thank you. I encourage you to subscribe to Resilient Voices and follow along on social media, where we'll be sharing updates, resources, and stories from our growing community of resilient women. And if you ever feel inspired or have a story to share, don't hesitate to reach out. I'd love to hear from you. You can also use the hashtag Resilient Voices to connect with other listeners who are on their own journeys of transformation.